The first day I walked through those college gates, he beat me in the parking lot, and he never noticed who helped me up would be the one to tear down his entire empire. A single slap can become evidence, a glance can become testimony, and an anonymous savior can become your fate's prosecutor. You want to know why a $78 million redevelopment contract was canceled in just 17 minutes? It started with the blood on my wrist that morning. My name is Nora Hale, and that August morning at Stonebridge University changed everything. The parking lot stretched before me like a concrete promise, rows of cars gleaming under the Riverton sun, freshman orientation banners fluttering in the humid breeze. I clutched my enrollment folder, scholarship paperwork crisp inside, 4 years of straight A's, countless late nights, and a full ride to one of Northfield's best universities. I'd earned this. Then I saw Wade's truck. The black F-350 blocked my Honda like a wall. He leaned against the hood, construction boots crossed, checking his Rolex with the practiced patience of a man who'd cornered plenty of deals. Wade Kincaid, my stepfather, owner of Kincaid Urban Partners, and the reason my mother stopped smiling without wine. Nora, he didn't look up from his watch. We need to discuss the scholarship money. My stomach clenched. There's nothing to discuss. $22,000 per semester. Now he looked at me, those contractors' eyes calculating square footage and profit margins. That's $88,000 over 4 years, money that should support this family. It's for my education. Your education? He pushed off the truck, closing the distance. I smelled his cologne. Expensive, sharp, the kind he wore to city council meetings. Your mother's struggling with the mortgage. Tyler needs startup capital. But you're hoarding scholarship money? Mom works, Tyler has his trust fund. The slap came fast, not wild or emotional, controlled, efficient, like driving a nail. My folder flew, papers scattering across asphalt. I hit the ground hard, gravel biting through my jeans, blood welled where my wrist scraped concrete. Transfer the refund check, he said quietly. Family account, today. Through the ringing in my ears, I heard footsteps, quick, purposeful. A woman crouched beside me, young, maybe late 20s, wearing a Stonebridge ID badge. M. Rowan, it read, Administrative Services. Don't move. Her voice was calm but firm. She touched my shoulder gently, cataloging damage with practiced eyes. Security? She called out. 2 campus officers were already jogging over. Wade straightened his tie. Family discussion. She tripped. Rowan didn't even look at him. She helped me sit up, handed me tissues from her pocket. What's your name? Nora Hale, freshman. Did this man assault you, Nora? I met Wade's eyes. He wasn't worried. Why would he be? Wade Kincaid built half of Riverton's commercial district. His pastor golfed with judges. His donations kept politicians grateful. Yes, I said. Rowan nodded, pulling out her phone. She photographed my wrist, the scattered papers, Wade's license plate. She moved with strange precision, like someone documenting a crime scene. The security officers took notes, their expressions carefully neutral. I'll need you to file a report, one said to me. Campus Safety Office. Wade smiled, that contractor's smile that preceded crushing small businesses. Officers, I'm sure this is a misunderstanding. I'm her stepfather, Wade Kincaid, the Riverside Elementary renovation. They knew him. Everyone knew him. But Rowan kept taking pictures. Ma'am? Wade addressed her directly. I don't believe we've met. I work closely with President Morrison on the new athletic complex. File the report, she told me, ignoring him completely. She helped me gather my papers, fingers careful around the blood-stained corners. Today, document everything. Then she stood, handed me her tissues, and walked away. Just like that. Disappeared into the stream of students heading to orientation. I never even thanked her. Wade left without another word. The security officers escorted me to their office, where I wrote down everything. Time, place, his words about the money, They filed it under incident number SR 4462, routine assault report. The officer seemed sympathetic but tired, like he'd seen too many family disputes to expect much. That night, my mother called. "Wade says you caused a scene at school, made accusations." Her voice slurred slightly. Second bottle of Pinot Grigio. "Nora, you know how hard he works for this family. These misunderstandings need to stay private." I hung up, put the incident report in my desk drawer, under old tax returns and bank statements, though it was just paper, proof of nothing in a city Wade Kincaid built. I didn't know that Rowan had kept copies of every photo, that she'd written her own detailed notes, that she'd remember my name, my face, the exact time Wade's fist connected with my jaw. I didn't know that one day. She'd hand me those photos across a coffee shop table and say, "I've been waiting for you to be ready." But that August morning, all I knew was this. My stepfather had hit me in broad daylight, and nobody was going to do anything about it. I was wrong about that last part. 7 years later, I'd become exactly what Wade never expected, invisible and dangerous. My office at North River Children's Institute occupied a corner of the 3rd floor, overlooking downtown Riverton. As compliance and forensic accounting specialist, I audited every dollar that flowed through our medical programs. Nobody noticed the quiet woman who cataloged receipts and verified vendor contracts. That's how I liked it. Wade had grown fat on Riverton's gratitude. His face smiled from the New Harbor Fellowship newsletter. Kincaid Urban Partners donates $100,000 for youth center. The Riverton Gazette ran puff pieces about his waterfront redevelopment vision. Mayor Hutchinson called him a pillar of our business community. I kept every article, filed them chronologically next to utility bills and grocery receipts in my home office. Some people collected stamps. I collected evidence of Wade Kincaid's existence. "Nora, you coming to lunch?" My colleague Derek poked his head into my office. "That new Thai place?" "Can't. Auditing the Q3 contractor payments." He laughed. "You and your spreadsheets. Don't forget to eat." I waited until his footsteps faded, then returned to invoice number 447B North, Aurora Siteworks, $15,000 for excavation services at our Riverside clinic. Strange. We hadn't broken ground on anything. I cross-referenced with our facilities schedule. No construction, no repairs, no excavation. But Wade's signature authorized the payment. My phone buzzed. Tyler. "Hey, sis. Dad wants to know if you're coming to the Chamber of Commerce thing Thursday. Big announcement about Tygo's new green initiative." Tyler, my half-brother, Wade's biological son, and the golden child who'd never seen our father's fist. His logistics startup burned through angel investments like tissue paper, each failure cushioned by Wade's connections. "I'm working Thursday." Come on. Nora, family solidarity, right? Dad's finally getting that waterfront contract. $78 million. Can you believe it? Harbor Point redevelopment. I'd been tracking it for months through public records. Wade had assembled a coalition of investors, promised 30% minority contractors, and somehow convinced the Bronson County Development Board to fast-track approval. Good for him. You could sound happier. This is huge for all of us. Mom's already planning the celebration. Mom, still choosing wine and Wade over truth. "I have to go, Tyler." "Wait, Dad mentioned something about Grandma's house. He needs you to sign some papers, estate stuff." I hung up. That night, I stayed late mapping Aurora Siteworks' payment history. The company existed. Barely. Incorporated 18 months ago. Same address as a dozen other shell companies. But the invoice patterns were beautiful in their stupidity. Always just under the $20,000 threshold that triggered board review. Always for services that sounded plausible, but couldn't be verified. I photographed every document, uploaded them to 3 different cloud services, printed hard copies for my home files. My habits had evolved since college. Every receipt, every email, every timestamp, I kept them all. My apartment looked like an accountant's fever dream. Color-coded folders lined custom shelves, backup drives in a fireproof safe. Even my grocery lists were dated and filed. Paranoid, my therapist had called it. Prepared, I'd corrected. Because Wade had taught me something that morning in the parking lot. Power meant controlling the narrative. He'd hit me in front of witnesses and walked away clean. The incident report gathered dust while he gathered city contracts. But numbers don't lie, and Wade had gotten sloppy. I pulled up the North River Children's Institute donor database. Kincaid Urban Partners appeared as a platinum supporter, $500,000 pledged over 5 years. Tax deductible, of course. Good PR for the Harbor Point bid. Then I looked at what we'd actually received. The donations came in. Yes, but they left just as quickly through vendor payments to Aurora Siteworks and 3 other companies I was starting to recognize. Shell companies paying shell companies. A carousel of cash that somehow always led back to Wade's orbit. My desk phone rang. The caller ID showed Mom's cell. "Nora, honey, Wade mentioned you hung up on Tyler." I was working. "This isolation isn't healthy. Dr. Patterson says..." "Is that Wade's therapist? The one he pays for?" "Silence, then. He's trying to help you. Nora, we all are. That incident at college was so long ago. You need to move forward." "Incident, is that what we're calling it?" "Please don't be difficult. Thursday's announcement is important for the family." Wade specifically asked. I hung up, added the call log to my records. 7:47 p.m. 3 minutes 12 seconds. Outside my window, Riverton sparkled. Wade's buildings dominated the skyline, each one a monument to what money could buy. Silence, forgiveness, forgetfulness. But I remembered everything, and now I had his invoices. The computer screen glowed with Aurora Siteworks' latest billing. I smiled, a small, private expression that would have concerned my therapist. Wade thought he'd beaten me in that parking lot. He thought I'd disappeared into the machinery of ordinary life. He never imagined I'd emerge 7 years later with a calculator and subpoena power. He was about to learn what happened when you hit someone who kept receipts. The Riverbend Country Club dining room smelled like old money and new lies. Crystal chandeliers cast prismatic light across white tablecloths, while Wade held court at our family table, cutting his steak with surgical precision. "The Harbor Point project represents the future of Riverton," he said, sliding a folder across to me. "Sustainable development, community partnership, legacy building." I didn't touch the folder. "Why am I here, Wade?" My mother's fingers tightened on her wine glass, her third since we'd sat down. Tyler scrolled through his phone, probably checking Tygo's dismal metrics. "Family business," Wade said. "Your grandmother's house." "What about it?" "The estate needs settling. You and Tyler are co-beneficiaries. But there's a timing issue. Tyler needs liquid capital for Tygo's expansion." "You want me to sign over my half?" He smiled. That contractor's smile. "A temporary arrangement. Buyout option in 5 years at market rate plus 15%. You're not using the property. It's not for sale." Tyler looked up. "Come on, Nora. It's just sitting empty. I need this for the company. For our future." Our future. Like we were building something together instead of Wade funneling money to his son through another failed venture. The answer is no. Wade's knife paused mid-cut. "Nora, we're trying to help you here. Isolated in that apartment, obsessing over your little spreadsheets. My spreadsheets pay my rent. While this family builds an empire," he gestured toward the dining room windows, where Riverton's skyline glittered. "Do you see any of your compliance reports out there? No. You see Kincaid Properties, Kincaid Vision, Kincaid Legacy. Built on whose money?" The table went silent. Even the neighboring diners seemed to pause. Wade set down his utensils. "Careful, Nora." "Or what? You'll hit me again?" My mother's glass shattered against her plate. Wine spread across white linen like blood. "Nora, that's enough." "Is it? Should we talk about the incident report? SR 4462, August 15th, 7 years ago?" "You ungrateful..." Tyler started. "No." Wade's voice cut through, calm, controlled. the voice he used to fire subcontractors. Let her speak. Let her embarrass herself with ancient history while we build the future. He pulled out his phone, showed me a rendering. Harbor Point gleamed in digital perfection. Mixed-use towers, riverfront promenades, sustainable everything. 78 million in development funds, board approval next month, 30% minority contractors guaranteed, 500 jobs, Nora, real jobs for real families. Whose families? Aurora Siteworks' invisible employees? He didn't blink, but Tyler did. Just a flicker. Enough. Wade laughed. Aurora's one of our excavation contractors. Is that what this is about? You found some invoices and think you're Detective Columbo? I think you're washing money through a children's medical charity. My mother stood abruptly, swaying. I won't listen to this. Wade has done everything for this family. Everything. While you catalog grudges like some bitter accountant. I am an accountant. You're a disappointment. She left, heels clicking across marble. Tyler mumbled something about checking on her and followed. Just Wade and me and the ruins of dinner. You know what your problem is, Nora? He leaned back, studying me. You think small, see small, live small. That scholarship money you hoarded? I turned it into an empire. That house you're clinging to? I could transform it into something meaningful. But you'd rather file papers and nurture grievances. I'd rather not be robbed by my stepfather. Robbed? He signaled for the check. I tried to teach you how the world works. Money flows to those who can multiply it, but you wanted to be righteous instead of rich. The waiter appeared. Wade handed over his black card without looking at the total. Sign the house papers. Nora, take the buyout. Move on with your life. No. He signed the receipt, added a generous tip. Performance of wealth. Then stay small, stay bitter, stay irrelevant. He stood, adjusted his cufflinks. Oh, and those Aurora invoices you're so excited about? All legitimate, all documented, all approved by your own board of directors. But please, waste your time. Play detective. Meanwhile, I'll be building Riverton's future. He left me sitting there among the wreckage of dinner. The waiter quietly cleared plates, probably wondering about the crazy daughter who accused Wade Kincaid of crimes. But I wasn't crazy, I was patient. That night, I went home and pulled the Aurora files. Wade was right. The invoices were approved. Board signatures all present, but boards approve what they're told to approve. And Wade had been telling stories for years. I cross-referenced every Aurora invoice against city permits. No excavation permits for any of our properties on the dates claimed. I checked equipment rental records. No heavy machinery contracts. Employee records. No workers' comp payments. Aurora Siteworks was a ghost, doing ghost work for real money. My phone buzzed. Text from Tyler. Dad's right. You're sick. Nora, get help. I screenshotted it, added it to the file. Wade thought he'd won dinner, thought he'd painted me as the bitter daughter nursing old wounds while he built tomorrow. He didn't understand that every insult was evidence, every lie left a paper trail. I opened a new spreadsheet, started mapping the connections between his board appointments, city contracts, and charity donations. The pattern emerged like a constellation, invisible until you connected the dots. $78 million, board approval next month. Wade was right about one thing. I did think small. Small details. Small discrepancies. Small numbers that added up to big fraud. He could have his empire. I'd take my spreadsheets. We'd see which one stood longer. The email arrived on a Tuesday at 2:47 p.m. Subject line, regarding Aurora Siteworks investigation. My hands stilled on the keyboard. The sender, M. Rowan, Deputy Director of Investigations, Northfield State Office of Ethics and Contracts. Ms. Hale, I believe we have mutual interests concerning certain development contracts in Riverton. Would you be available for coffee? Maya Rowan. Maya M. Rowan, the woman who'd helped me up 7 years ago. We met at Old Iron Coffee, a quiet place near the courthouse where lawyers discussed cases and judges read newspapers. She looked different, older, sharper, wearing a state investigator's careful neutrality like armor, but I recognized the precision in how she stirred her coffee, the way she cataloged everything. "You kept the incident report," she said without preamble. "You remember me." "I remember everyone who files assault charges against Wade Kincaid." She pulled out a tablet, swiped through files. "I also remember taking photos that campus security somehow never requested." She showed me the images, crystal clear, Wade's face contorted with rage, my blood on the asphalt, the scattered scholarship papers, time stamps in the corner, 08:15, 10:47 a.m. "Why did you keep these?" "Because I knew who he was, what he was." Maya's voice carried weight. "My father's construction company bid against Kincaid for the Riverside Elementary renovation. Lost despite a lower bid. 2 months later. Health inspectors found violations. Dad lost his license. Lost everything." "I'm sorry." "Don't be. Be useful." She pulled up another file. "Harbor Point redevelopment. $78 million in state and county funds. Board approval scheduled for next month. But 3 weeks ago, we received an anonymous tip about irregular payments to subcontractors." Aurora Siteworks. Had to be. "The problem," Maya continued, "is proving the connection. Wade's careful. His lawyers are excellent. The paper trail is professionally obscured." "What do you need?" "Someone inside. Someone with access to financial records who understands forensic accounting. Someone with personal stakes who won't fold under pressure." She slid a business card across the table. Official state seal. Her direct number. "If you agree to cooperate as a whistleblower, you'll have full state protection. Your evidence becomes our evidence. Your access becomes our investigation." "And Wade?" "Depends what we find. Contract fraud is 5 to 10 years. If there's RICO involvement," she shrugged. "But I'm not interested in just criminal charges. I want the Harbor Point vote canceled, his contracts voided, his empire audited down to the last penny." "Why tell me this? Isn't this witness tampering or—" "You're not a witness yet. Right now, you're a potential complainant who reached out about Aurora Siteworks invoices, which, by the way, how did you—" "I work for North River Children's Institute. Aurora bills us for services never rendered. Wade's signature on every approval." Maya smiled. The first real expression I'd seen from her. Medical charity fraud, federal jurisdiction. This just got better. She showed me more files, other shell companies I hadn't found yet. River North Holdings, Bronson Development Partners, Cascade Engineering LLC, all incorporated within 18 months, all billing various nonprofits and city departments, all somehow connected to projects Wade oversaw. "He's washing development money through charity invoices," I said. "That's our theory. But theories don't cancel $78 million contracts. We need proof, documents, testimony, inside knowledge." "I have files, spreadsheets, cross-referenced permits, and—" "Bring everything. But Nora," she leaned forward, "once you officially cooperate, Wade will know. He'll come at you with everything. Lawyers, intimidation, family pressure. He already does that. This will be different. This threatens his money." I thought about dinner at Riverbend, my mother's shattered wine glass, Tyler's entitled rage, 7 years of being told to move on. Stay quiet. Stay small. "When do we start?" Maya checked her watch. "Board meets in 27 days. We need your formal statement within 72 hours to fast-track subpoenas. Can you gather everything by then?" "It's already gathered. 7 years' worth." She blinked. "You've been collecting for 7 years?" "I've been waiting for 7 years. There's a difference." Maya stood, left cash for both coffees. "One more thing. That day in the parking lot, I wrote down what Wade said about the scholarship money belonging to the family. Establishing pattern of financial coercion could upgrade charges. Would you testify about that?" "Every word." "Good, because I also have the security footage, enhanced, digital cleanup by our tech team. Wade's face is very, very clear." My heart hammered. Security said those tapes were recycled after 60 days. They were, but a certain administrative services employee might have made copies first, might have kept them in case someone finally decided to fight back. She'd been preparing too, all these years. Why? I asked. Why help me then? Why wait until now? Maya gathered her files. Because then, you were a scared freshman who'd just been assaulted. You needed safety, not surveillance footage. Now you're a forensic accountant with 7 years of evidence and the expertise to use it. Now you're dangerous. She headed for the door, then paused. Wade Kincaid destroyed my father with paperwork. Seems fitting we return the favor. 72 hours. Nora, bring everything. After she left, I sat in old iron until my coffee went cold. Outside, Riverton bustled with Wade's progress. His buildings, his vision, his empire built on stolen dollars and silenced voices. But Maya Rowan had kept my pictures. I'd kept his receipts. And in 27 days, the Bronson County Development Board would hear exactly how Wade Kincaid built his legacy. I pulled out my phone, texted one word to Maya's number. Ready? Then I went home to organize 7 years of patience into evidence. The evidence lived in my apartment like a paper nervous system. 7 years of receipts, emails, photographs, and files spread across my dining table in prosecutorial glory. Maya had given me 72 hours. I needed 3. First, the Aurora Siteworks invoices. I'd created a timeline showing $340,000 in payments over 18 months. Each invoice matched to a non-existent service, cross-referenced with city permits showing no construction, paired with satellite images proving no excavation, beautiful in its clarity. Second, the shell company network. I'd mapped the corporate DNA, Aurora to River North Holdings to Cascade Engineering. Different names, same signatures, same bank routing numbers, same IP address filing in corporation papers, traced to a computer at Wade's office. But the killing stroke came from Tyler's stupidity. Digging through metadata, I found Aurora's digital invoices all originated from one device. The MAC address matched emails from Tyler's Tygo account. He'd been filing fake invoices from his work laptop, too lazy to use a different machine. Each invoice time-stamped during his work hours at Wade's office. Print everything, Maya had said. Physical copies. Digital trails can be challenged. My printer ran for 6 hours. I organized everything into indexed binders. Financial forensics is storytelling with numbers. Each page a sentence, each pattern a paragraph, building to an inevitable conclusion. Then I found the prize. Wade's development company had filed financial disclosures for the Harbor Point bid, legal requirement for public-private partnerships, in subsection 47B, listing community partners. He'd claimed $2.4 million in donations to local nonprofits as evidence of civic commitment. I compared those numbers to our books at North River. Wade claimed $500,000 donated to us. Our records showed $500,000 received, then $340,000 paid out to Aurora Siteworks. Net donation, $160,000. The rest circled back to Wade through construction contracts that built nothing. He'd inflated his charitable giving by 300% using our organization as a washing machine. My phone rang. Mom. Nora, what are you doing? Working. Wade's lawyer called. Said you've been making accusations to state investigators. Do you understand what you're doing to this family? I'm telling the truth. Your truth, your version, your vindictive little crusade that will destroy everything we've built. What you built? Mom, you drink wine and host garden parties with stolen money. Silence. Then, quieter. He's my husband, Tyler's father, our security. He hit me. 7 years ago. When does it end? Nora, when do you stop punishing us for one mistake? When he stops stealing from sick children to build his empire. She hung up. I added the call log to my evidence file. 4:47 p.m. 6 minutes 23 seconds. That night, I compiled the final piece. Wade's required financial disclosure for board positions. He sat on 3 nonprofit boards, including North River. Each position required annual conflict of interest statements. He'd sworn no financial relationships with vendors. Aurora Siteworks was owned by River North Holdings. River North Holdings was owned by a trust. The trust beneficiary? Tyler Kincaid. Wade had lied on federal disclosure forms. That upgraded everything from fraud to false statements. Each form a separate count. Each count 5 years. I created a summary document, 40 pages distilling 7 years into prosecutable facts. $340,000 in false invoices through Aurora Siteworks, $2.4 million in inflated charitable giving claims, 18 false conflict of interest declarations. Pattern of financial coercion dating to August 15th assault. Tax fraud implications for claimed charitable deductions. RICO potential through interstate commerce. The doorbell rang at midnight. Through the peephole, Tyler. I didn't open it. Nora, I know you're there. We need to talk. I said nothing. Dad doesn't know I'm here. Look, I need you to understand. The company is failing. Tygo is broke. If this Harbor Point deal falls through, we lose everything. Still nothing. Those invoices, Dad said it was just temporary, moving money around to keep things liquid. Everyone does it. He was going to pay it back after Harbor Point. I hit record on my phone, held it to the door. Nora, please, I'll give you whatever you want. The house, money, anything. Just don't do this. Don't destroy our whole family over some technical violations. Technical violations, like assault was technical, like fraud was theoretical. I'm sorry about what Dad did at college, okay? I'm sorry. But this is different. This is our lives. Mom's security, my future. Please. His footsteps retreated after 20 minutes. I saved the recording, added it to the evidence. 3 days later, I sat in Maya's state office with my binders. Jesus, she said, reviewing the summaries. This is comprehensive. Will it stop the vote? This will stop everything. Federal charges, state charges, civil suits from every nonprofit he's touched. The IRS will feast on this for years. She called in 2 assistants, a federal liaison, and someone from the Attorney General's office. They divided my binders like sharks sharing chum. We'll need your formal deposition tomorrow, Maya said. 8 hours minimum, every detail, every document, every interaction with Wade. I'm ready. And Nora, once we file these charges, once the subpoenas hit, Wade will know exactly who burned him down. Are you prepared for that? I thought about that morning 7 years ago, blood on asphalt, Rowan crouching beside me, documenting truth while Wade walked away clean. I've been prepared since I was 18. Maya smiled, sharp and satisfied. Then let's cancel a $78 million contract. The printer hummed, spitting out subpoenas, each one a nail, each one bearing Wade Kincaid's name. The Bronson County Development Board meeting room was standing room only. Reporters from the Riverton Gazette lined the back wall. New Harbor Fellowship sent a delegation in matching T-shirts. Business owners clutched Harbor Point prospectuses like prayer books. Wade sat at the presenter's table, presidential in his charcoal suit, Lydia beside him, medicated into serenity, Tyler at the microphone, stumbling through PowerPoints about sustainable logistics solutions and green job creation. I entered through the side door, carrying a single folder. Wade's eyes found me immediately. He smiled. That contractor's smile that preceded demolition. The board chair called for public comment. I raised my hand. State your name for the record. Nora Hale, Compliance Director, North River Children's Institute. Wade's smile flickered. Lydia's head turned slowly, processing through Xanax fog. I'm here regarding financial irregularities in Mr. Kincaid's charitable giving claims, specifically as they relate to his Harbor Point qualification documents. The room shifted. Reporters lifted phones. Board members straightened. Wade stood. Point of order. Mr. Chairman, this is a development hearing, not a... Sit down. Mr. Kincaid. The chairman looked tired. Miss Hale, you have 3 minutes. I opened my folder. Wade Kincaid claims $2.4 million in charitable donations as evidence of community commitment. I have documentation showing $340,000 of that was cycled through shell companies billing for non-existent services. That's slander, Wade snapped. I'll sue. Aurora Site Works, I continued. Billed North River Children's Institute for excavation services never performed. Here are the invoices. Here are the permits, showing no construction. Here are the canceled checks signed by Mr. Kincaid. I passed copies to the board secretary. The room buzzed. Furthermore, River North Holdings, the parent company of Aurora, is owned by a trust benefiting Tyler Kincaid. Mr. Kincaid filed 18 false conflict of interest statements hiding this relationship. Tyler went white. Dad. Shut up, Wade hissed. A side door opened. Maya Rowan entered with 2 state investigators and a court reporter. Maya Rowan, Deputy Director, State Ethics and Contracts. We're here to present evidence of systematic fraud in the Harbor Point proposal. This is ambush, Wade's lawyer shot up. We haven't been notified. Notice was filed at 8 a.m., Maya said calmly. Perhaps check your email. She set up a laptop, connected to the projector. The screen filled with my evidence, invoices, timelines, shell company networks. But then she added something new. This photograph was taken August 15th, 7 years ago, at Stonebridge University. The image exploded across the screen, Wade's fist connecting with my face. Blood on asphalt. Time-stamp crisp in the corner. The room gasped. Someone whispered, Jesus Christ. This establishes a pattern of coercion related to financial matters. Maya continued. Mr. Kincaid assaulted Ms. Hale attempting to force her to transfer scholarship funds. Today, he's forcing Riverton to transfer public funds through fraudulent claims. That's a family matter, Wade stammered. Years ago, nothing to do with... Everything to do with character, the chairman interrupted. Ms. Rowan, continue. Maya clicked through slides, each one another coffin nail. Tyler's laptop metadata on Aurora invoices, Wade's false disclosures, the trust documents, bank records showing circular transfers. In total, we've identified $1.7 million in fraudulent transactions across 6 nonprofits, all traced to Kincaid-controlled entities, all supporting false claims in the Harbor Point proposal. I need a recess, Wade's lawyer said. Denied, the chairman replied. Ms. Hale, do you have additional comments? I stood. Just one document. I pulled out the Stonebridge Security Report, SR 4462. My voice stayed steady. 7 years ago, Wade Kincaid told me family money stays in the family before assaulting me. Today, he's trying to make Riverton's money his family money. The only difference is scale. You bitter little... Wade started forward. His lawyer grabbed him. Mr. Kincaid, the chairman slammed his gavel. You're out of order. Tyler was texting frantically. Lydia stared at me like I was a stranger, which I suppose I was, the daughter who refused to stay quiet. Board members huddled, whispering. The chairman didn't bother with formal procedure. Motion to table Harbor Point redevelopment pending state investigation. Second. All in favor? 7 hands rose. Motion carries. Harbor Point redevelopment is suspended indefinitely. Mr. Kincaid, your firm is hereby disqualified from county contracts pending investigation outcome. The gavel fell. The room erupted. Reporters surrounded Wade, shouting questions. His lawyer tried to shield him, but there were too many cameras. Tyler bolted for the exit. Lydia sat frozen, her pharmaceutical calm finally cracking. Maya appeared at my elbow. 17 minutes from opening statement to vote. Impressive. What happens now? Now? Federal prosecutors take over. FBI forensic accountants dig through everything. IRS starts their own investigation. Every nonprofit gets audited. Every board position reviewed. Wade pushed through the crowd, heading straight for me. 2 state investigators stepped between us. This isn't over, he snarled. No, I agreed. It's just beginning. His face contorted, that same rage from the parking lot, but this time, everyone was watching, recording, documenting. "Ms. Hale," a reporter called out, "why come forward now? Why wait 7 years?" I looked at Wade, then at Maya, then at the camera. Because 7 years ago, I was a scared kid with a bloody wrist. Today, I'm a forensic accountant with evidence. The difference is preparation. Security escorted Wade out. Lydia followed, weaving slightly. The dynasty of Wade Kincaid, built on concrete and lies, had cracked in 17 minutes. But it hadn't fallen, not yet. That would take the criminal trial. The collapse came in stages, like a controlled demolition. First, the banks. Within 48 hours of the board meeting, Riverton First National froze all accounts linked to River North Holdings. The investigation had triggered federal banking alerts. Wade's credit lines evaporated. Construction loans came due. Payroll checks bounced. I watched from my office as the news cycle consumed him. Kincaid Empire under investigation. Charity fraud rocks Harbor Point. Assault photo surfaces in corruption probe. My phone had 47 missed calls from my mother. I didn't answer. Instead, I focused on the federal prosecutors. They needed every document translated from accounting to English, every pattern explained, every connection mapped. I became their native guide through 7 years of financial breadcrumbs. "This Tygo transfer," the lead prosecutor said, pointing at my chart. "Explain it again." Wade funneled $400,000 through Aurora to Tygo as consulting fees. Tygo then paid Aurora for logistics services. The money circled back minus Tyler's cut. Classic washing. And Tyler knew? I pulled up his emails. He filed the invoices personally. Here's metadata proving he created them. Here's him discussing it with Wade. The prosecutor smiled. Tyler just became a co-conspirator. The second collapse, social standing. New Harbor Fellowship released a statement reviewing their relationship with the Kincaid family. The country club suspended Wade's membership pending investigation. The mayor stopped returning calls. 7 years of carefully cultivated respectability, gone. Tyler's startup folded within a week. Investors pulled out. Staff quit. The green logistics revolution ended with locked doors and a bankruptcy filing. I got one text from him. "I hope you're happy." I wasn't happy. I was thorough. The third collapse? Family. Lydia called on day 10. Sober for once. "They froze our accounts," she said. "All of them. Even my personal checking. I can't buy groceries." "The account in your maiden name should be clear. The one I helped you open 3 years ago." Silence, then. "You knew this would happen." "I knew Wade was stealing. I didn't know you'd stay once it was proven." "He's my husband." "He's a criminal who hit your daughter." "That was one time? A mistake? Which excuse? Mom? I've heard them all." She started crying. "What am I supposed to do? I'm 57. No career. No skills. Just Mrs. Wade Kincaid." "You're supposed to choose him or truth, comfort or conscience. You've been making that choice for 7 years. Make it again." I hung up. She chose Wade. She always did. The fourth collapse. The machine itself. FBI agents raided Kincaid Urban Partners on a Thursday morning. They carried out boxes of files, hard drives, years of documents. Wade watched from the parking lot. Local news filming his empire being cataloged as evidence. Maya called that afternoon. "We found 12 more shell companies. 3 more nonprofits hit. The total is approaching $4 million. "Any violence?" I asked. "Other assaults?" 2 former employees mentioned physical intimidation. "We're following up. Your parking lot incident established pattern. Without it, they might not have come forward." That night, someone threw a brick through my apartment window. No note. No need. I called the police, filed a report, added it to my evidence folder. Then I upgraded my security system and kept working. The fifth collapse, legal. The indictment listed 47 counts: wire fraud, mail fraud, money laundering, tax evasion, false statements, RICO violations for operating a corrupt enterprise, each count carrying years. Tyler got his own indictment, 12 counts. Wade had protected his son by making him complicit. Local news ran my parking lot photo next to Wade's mugshot, 7 years apart, before and after. The comment sections filled with other stories. Contractors Wade had crushed, employees he'd cheated, permits he'd purchased. I wasn't his only victim, just his most patient one. Wade's lawyer tried one last play, offered a deal through Maya. He'd plead to minor charges, pay restitution, avoid trial. In exchange, he wanted my silence, no testimony, no interviews. Let him pretend it was just accounting errors. Maya brought the offer to my office. It's not my decision, but trials are hard, traumatic. You'd have to relive that morning, face cross-examination, have your life dissected. No deal? You're sure? I pulled out a photo, not from the parking lot, but from my graduation. 4 years after Wade's assault, I'd walked across that stage, summa cum laude, no family in attendance, but I'd earned it, every credit, every honor, despite him. He doesn't get to erase what he did, not for any price. Maya nodded. Trial date is set, 3 months. 3 months to prepare. 3 months for Wade to maneuver. 3 months for the empire to finish falling. But gravity is patient, and I'd learned patience from the best. The phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. You destroyed everything. Wade's voice, calling from jail. My company, my reputation, my family. No, I corrected. You did that. I just kept the receipts. I'll beat this. Good lawyers, technicalities. You'll see. And when I do, when you do, I'll still have the photos, the invoices, the truth. I'll always have the truth. Wade. He hung up. I added the call log to my records. Prisoner number 447B 2019. 3 minutes, 17 seconds. That night, I sat in my apartment, surrounded by 7 years of evidence. Outside, Riverton's skyline glowed. Wade's buildings still stood, but their foundations were forensic crime scenes now. His legacy reduced to exhibit numbers. The brick had left a hole in my window. Cold air whistled through. I didn't cover it. Let it breathe. Let truth flow through the gap Wade's violence had created. The trial would be brutal, but I'd survived him once in that parking lot. I could do it again in court. The supplemental hearing was scheduled for 2 p.m. Word had spread. The courtroom gallery filled with reporters, nonprofit directors, and Wade's former associates watching the empire's final moments. Wade sat at the defendant's table, orange jumpsuit replacing Armani. His lawyer had promised explosive revelations that would recontextualize the parking lot assault. I almost laughed. You can't recontextualize a fist. Your Honor, Wade's lawyer began. We contend that the alleged assault was a misunderstanding, a father's concern misinterpreted. Ms. Hale has harbored resentment for years, conspiring to— Objection, the prosecutor interrupted. Conspiracy requires evidence, not speculation. Sustained. Maya sat beside me in the witness section. She'd brought something in a manila folder, held it like a loaded weapon. Wade's lawyer tried again. The photo proves nothing except a moment of family tension. No medical records, no injuries documented, just a young woman's word against— Actually, Maya stood. I have supplemental evidence. The judge nodded. Approach. What happened next took exactly 17 minutes, the same time it had taken to destroy Harbor Point. Poetic. Maya presented the original security report. Not just my statement, but 3 witness accounts from other students. She had the enhanced footage showing the full incident, not just the still photo, audio recovered by state tech specialists. You could hear Wade clearly. Transfer the money or I'll make sure you never finish school. Money from family stays with family. Then the sound of impact, my scream, students shouting. But the killing blow was the security guard's body cam, discovered during the FBI raid of Stonebridge's old servers. Full video, multiple angles. Wade grabbing my scholarship papers, the punch, me falling, blood spreading on concrete. And Maya kneeling beside me, looking directly at Wade, memorizing his face. The courtroom went silent. "Your Honor," the prosecutor said quietly, "the state moves to add aggravated assault and attempted extortion to Mr. Kincaid's charges." Wade exploded. "That's not— she's lying. They're all lying. This is persecution." His lawyer grabbed his arm. Too late. "I built this city," Wade shouted. "Every contract, every development, every job. And this ungrateful bitch—" "Mr. Kincaid?" The judge's gavel cracked like gunshot. "Thinks she can destroy me with paperwork? I should have hit her harder. Should have—" 3 bailiffs restrained him. His lawyer looked sick. The judge's voice could have frozen fire. "Let the record reflect the defendant's outburst, including threats of additional violence. Bail is revoked. Defendant will remain in custody pending trial." "No!" Wade fought the bailiffs. "You don't understand. The money was mine. The contracts were mine. She was supposed to be grateful, supposed to stay quiet." They dragged him out, still screaming about ingratitude and ownership, his empire ending not with dignity, but with the tantrum of a man who'd confused fear for respect. The courtroom slowly emptied. Tyler had fled after the video played. Lydia never showed up. Maya told me she'd entered rehab, finally choosing sobriety over Wade. Outside, reporters waited. "Ms. Hale, how does it feel to see Wade Kincaid held accountable?" I thought about that morning 7 years ago, 18 years old, blood on my wrist, watching him drive away certain of his invincibility. Then I thought about Maya, keeping those photos all these years, playing the long game. "Justice feels like patience rewarded," I said. "Will you attend the full trial?" Every single day. The prosecutor emerged, grinning. "With the video evidence and his courtroom confession, we're looking at 25 to 30 years. He'll die in prison." I felt empty, not satisfied, not vindicated, just empty. 7 years building toward this moment, and now it was done. Maya touched my shoulder. "You okay?" "I don't know what comes next." "Whatever you want, that's what freedom looks like." That evening, I stood in my apartment, looking through the hole Wade's brick had left. Riverton sprawled below, his buildings casting shadows, but no longer his to command. The development board had voted to redistribute the Harbor Point funds to legitimate contractors. The nonprofits would recover their stolen money. The city would heal. My phone rang, an unknown number, but not from jail. "Nora? It's Mom. I wanted you to know. I'm 30 days sober, and I'm divorcing Wade. Better late than never. I'm proud of you. I should have chosen you 7 years ago. Should have believed you, protected you. I'm sorry." "I know." Could we try again? Start over?" I looked at my wall of evidence. 7 years of receipts, of preparation, of waiting for this moment, but also 7 years of distance from my mother, of Tyler's corruption, of family dinners I'd never attended. "Let's start with coffee," I said. "When you're stronger." "I'd like that." After we hung up, I began taking down the files, packing away the evidence. The case was the prosecutor's now. My part was done. Wade thought he'd won that morning in the parking lot, thought violence and money could silence truth. He never understood that some people remember everything. Some people keep receipts. Some people wait. And sometimes, the person who helps you up is taking notes for the trial 7 years later. He learned too late. In a world built on paper trails, the most dangerous enemy is the one who understands filing systems. His empire fell in 17 minutes, but I'd built its demolition for 7 years. One receipt at a time. Thank you so much for listening to this story. I'd love to know where you're tuning in from. Drop a comment below and let's connect. If this story resonated with you, please subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts. What would you have done in Nora's situation? Your perspectives make these stories come alive.